Index Card a Day, number 16. Believe by Creative Katie, Karen Burchill. Hit the subscribe button in the lower right-hand side and you won't miss upcoming videos. So I am applying a rather thick layer of the thickest gesso that I have onto the card. And I am going to stamp into it using both bubble wrap and a dot stamp. You can use any of your stamps, clear, red rubber, etc. Make sure you clean them afterwards. Now, if this is looking familiar, you may have just watched the Tidbits and Tips video using gesso to help create texture on your pages, where I create the backgrounds for these cards on that video. Feel free to zoom ahead and catch up when we start finishing this card. So there I'm applying bubble wrap. All you need is anything that's going to make a mark. And you can see the texture that's developed there. Now, because it's been put on rather thickly, the gesso is going to take some time to dry. So even with the heat tool, I ended up setting it aside and working on other parts of the video. I find heating the opposite side is as important because you want the moisture to come out of it. So here I'm using my cut and dry foam, which is one of my newest loves, and I'm just applying 3-4 colors to the card. And this is going to make the texture pop. It's going to get caught in all the nooks and crannies and really show up even more than it was. This is not in-your-face kind of texture. It's rather subtle. So I'm putting on one layer, and then I'll be drying in between, and then adding more color to build up color and intensity, and working to blend the colors so there isn't a straight line indicating where one color started and one color ended. If I had my Dilutions paints, I would have totally used them for this because they blend so easily. But with a little effort, you can get the same effect using acrylic paints. So you don't need to rush out and buy something new just for that. So I'm adding color, and there you can see the lovely texture. I'm kind of wishing that I had put more texture on it, stamped more into it, but live and learn. At this point, when I was creating the backgrounds, I had no idea what kind of card I was going to make. All I know is that I have to use stuff from my stash. So here I'm taking a little bit of the darker brown, and I'm just very lightly skimming over top just to make the texture show up a little bit more. I like using darker colors. You can use lighter colors or metallics. They really show off the texture. And it's just a very little coat of it. So I have gotten all these free printables, and I printed them on paper that's a little bit thicker than regular copy paper. And I found this fairy, and much to Yvonne's surprise, I fussy cut it. These little scissors here are scissors that I've had from my paper tool days, and they're really curved and work really, really well. So I cut out the wings because I wanted the color to show up from the background. So here you see me going through some of the stickers that I had purchased probably when I just started mixed media at the dollar store. So again, since the goal is to use my stash, here I am. So I'm just putting that sticker on, and again, I cut it to fit my card and my design. There's a little curlicue above the believe, and there was one underneath the believe. I just separated them and put it at the bottom of the card so it kind of frames my card. So that's my matte gel, and I'm just applying it all over. No worry about anything reactivating because this was acrylic paint. And I'm just going to glue that in place. Get it all done. And I've discovered that if you put the matte medium over top of those shiny stickers, it dulls them so that you don't get that glare. So I've got my Stabilo all pencil in black, and it looked like the little fairy wasn't really sitting on, so I gave her a bit of a perch to sit on, so it didn't look like she was just levitating. Using the Stabilo all the way around the edge just to add that black in, and activating it with a brush and just letting it blend out to get the desired effect. So this is my glass coat, and again, this is back from the days that I did paper tool, which is probably more than 20 years. I think the cost of this was like $2.49. It would probably cost a lot more. And I thought, oh, this is much like my pouring medium or liquid glass and those kind of things. So I painted it into the wings so they kind of had an iridescent quality. I didn't want to dull the color, but I just wanted it to add that little bit of sparkle, and it did the trick. And then I decided it needed more, so I'm just using the Martha Stewart gold paint, and I'm just kind of smudging it here and there just to add a little bit more interest. Here's up a close-up of the card. You can see the shimmer. And if you look behind, you can see the texture that was created, just very, very subtle. And the finished card. I really like how this one turned out. Thank you for watching. See you with the next ICAD.